Hey, yo! What's up, Booze?
This Sunday, all about survival. Every team in this room got beef. We're gonna have to put that beef aside come Sunday. For la familia. The good brothers.
Right.
The good brothers.
Hey, this Sunday, I need y'all to be too mean.
What else?
And too vicious.
And what else?
And too sweet. The good brothers got your back.
We got y'all loose for life. Sandy. What?
Hey, this
Sunday is
Sunday?
gonna get real chaotic.
Come on, Booze.
United will purge.
See, that's what I'm saying, Oos.
What's that, baby?
If there's one thing that every tag team behind us can agree on,
What's that, Oos?
it's something called unity.
Oh, yeah.
Come Sunday, it's lockdown. Welcome to the SmackDown Penitentiary.
Welcome to the program, everybody. Episode 132 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Le'Veon Bell is no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler. We are almost 3 to 4 days heading into TakeOver War Games and Survivor Series weekend. It is indeed a Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. We're going to make some changes to the podcast coming after Thanksgiving, so keep up with us just to get some of the info when that comes out. My name is Josh Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Notorious Joshie. Adam, my co-host and good brother from another mother, is at Twitter at Daley13. What's going on, my man?
Hey, what's going on? Listen, I didn't even know what's going on with Bill. I live in Pittsburgh, and I don't literally in Pittsburgh, and I don't know what the hell's going on with not in the outskirts. I live in Pittsburgh. I don't know what's going on with Bill.
Yeah. So there was a certain deadline that Le'Veon Bell had to reach if he played this season.
Right.
And he's already put around $9 million away by sitting out this season. So he didn't reach that deadline, so he will not be playing football this year, and he's on a contract year, so you've probably seen Le'Veon Bell for the last time in black and yellow. I'm sure Wiz Khalifa is depressed. But
Well, yeah, because it's black and gold, not black and yellow. And that song didn't originate about the Pittsburgh Steelers at all. It was not written for the Steelers. There's so much bullshit that comes behind that song. But anyway, it's black and gold. Any Steeler fan knows it's black and gold. It's not black and yellow. It's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. But anyway, all right. So basically, what you're saying is Le'Veon Bell rested his body for an entire year and is going to get a big ass contract from someone and is going to pretty much run wild all over the league.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. I think he played it right. Okay. As opposed to Earl Thomas, who was having to hold out and then came back and then had a torn Achilles, I think.
That's where you do have to protect your investment, and unfortunately, that's what everyone is doing in today's NFL. You're your own investment, and I don't like it as much as anybody else, but like you said, that the one injury, that Earl Thomas injury was and Bell said that's why that's why I'll keep being the villain, because you just got to protect yourself. Not saying injuries can't happen when he's comes back next year, but it's a lot easier when you have that big contract, right, Khalil Mack?
It's the one interesting part about the NFL that's kind of sad at the same time is that as a team of a certain football club, you're always monitoring injuries. Mm-hmm. Being a Bears fan, the team is lead the league in number of players on injured reserve, and that always sucks. Look at the Falcons this year, a team that's always touted as a playoff team. A lot of their main stars is on injured reserve right now.
I think we've had the most mid-season retirements, more so than the Bills, which is depressing. But at least nobody quit at halftime like they did with the Bills, So I guess it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Take your pick, pick your poison. That's so bad. We are so horrible in Oakland this year.
Oh man. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out the podcast on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of changes coming up with our show in the next couple weeks. I'm officially over Pot of Madness. deleting my account from Automatic. So right now you're not able to get the shows on iTunes. We have to find a different home base to upload our shows onto iTunes. And there's going to be a lot of changes. Not changes of how we conduct the show or what we talk about or whatever, but there's just different things we're going to change about it just to extend the reach to the show and yada, 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 stuff that you want to be bored with. But nothing's going to change as far as the on-air content. The only thing is that we will not be doing the show next week. I hope you guys do enjoy your Thanksgiving Day with your family. So we'll make sure to bottle up all our thoughts about Survivor Series the week after Thanksgiving. So one thing I will say, though, before we get to wrestling this week, because I know Black Friday is coming up. Thank God I don't have to work that day. I don't know. By the way, I don't know how tattoos work on Black Fridays. I don't know if that's something that's on the wanting list of the dude that day. I don't know.
I guess it depends on the shop, right? If you market sales or you market like certain things, I guess you could. It depends on. Typically, tattoos sell themselves, but you'd want to still, if you're a business owner, want to get traffic in somehow. So I'm sure different shops have different specials or whatever.
Yeah. My tip for everybody next week, enjoy the time with your family next week. You're going to have some good food depending where you're at. But also don't be a Nimrod on Black Friday. That's all I ask.
And
it's not that serious, bro.
Be thankful for what you got. Don't sit there and always want what you don't have. That's again, I keep on this. We're in a society now where nobody appreciates anything till it's gone. So maybe use this holiday to kind of reflect on what you have instead of what you don't have. And you'll be able to give thanks that you don't got to listen to my screeching horrible voice next week. So it's all solid next week. I don't like to listen to me, this nasally, weaselly voice. I hate it. I didn't get to pick my voice, though, so just got to roll with it.
Yeah, we got to roll with our punches. Speaking of rolling with punches, I think Donald Trump is taking L's and not handling it well right now. By the way, I want to send some good vibes to the people out in California, especially my sister who lives in Sacramento and all the good brothers and sisters that live out there, and those who do listen to the podcast out there. I want to give a shout out to Sock Monkey Mike, who lives out there in the Bay Area, who listens to the podcast each week. So shout out to you, good brother. Everybody dealing with
he either loves or hates my Raiders fans, because he's either a Raider fan. If he's in the Bay Area, he's probably either a Raider fan like me and is suffering, or he's a Raider hater and is loving it. So it's one way or the other.
Yeah.
He gets a kick out of it. So one way or the other, I'm sure he gets a kick out of the rant. So that's fine. Right.
Best wishes to everybody out there. Just part of Mother Nature that's really unfortunate in that type of area. The fact that fires do happen this regularly, and it's not once a year type of thing. This stuff happens more than it should. But we're not going to come in here and criticize your government or whatever because that's what I need to get off my chest on Twitter that day, like our president does. It's just funny that we need to point out America's issues as opposed to doing something about it.
Maybe we should just acknowledge that man, bear, pig is a thing, and just, I don't know how much has to happen for people to just keep, not acknowledging that man, bear, pig is an actual thing. It's not another school shooting. And if you're not watching South Park right now, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, listen, obviously my thoughts are out there with everyone out in California. We've had a lot of, the natural disasters have been picking up over the past, several years, but there's nothing we should be worried about at all.
Right. Absolutely.
Nah. Screw actual scientists. What do they know other than facts?
What are they talking about?
Who listens to facts anymore, though? That's so 2012.
Oh, boy. I would say this really quick on a pop culture tip. I really enjoyed the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. Sometimes I'm hit and miss when it comes to biopic movies, but shout out to Rami Malek, who's the actor who portrayed Freddie Mercury. I saw a documentary about Queen once when I was like 12 years old in a music class. Like, I know of Queen. I love their music. I wouldn't say like I'm a big mark for Queen, but I always appreciate their music, especially from a rock perspective. Brian May is one of the greatest guitar players of all time, and Freddie Mercury gets a lot of praise for his vocal abilities, of course, and he's also one of the first showmen when it comes to regular classic rock bands that would just sit on the stage and just play their instruments around. So I saw the movie, and from what I saw in the documentary and this and that, I thought he did a really good job in the movie, and it was really cool. Mike Myers was an A&R rep for the studio they're in. I won't give full spoilers out, but it's kind of interesting story of what songs were allowed to be on certain records and stuff, and it was pretty cool. Like I said, some biopics are good, some biopics are not. I always have a fondness for music biopics as opposed to other ones. I being from Italian family, you see a lot of gangster mob movies about Whitey Bulger, who just passed away last week, that I just found out of the blue after we recorded the show. There's so many biopics.
Yeah, they tried cutting his tongue or ripping his tongue out or something like that, didn't they?
Yeah.
The day he was transferred. There was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Whitey was Irish, though, man, right? Whitey was Boston Irish.
Yes, he was. But this movie was really good. If you like music, if you like biopics, I think you'll really enjoy it. And Rami's got a lot of attention for being Mr. Robot on the USA Network, and he's a good actor, so I enjoyed it for what it was.
And then on my pop culture end, I talked about it last week. Muse's Simulation Theory came out. Fantastic album. Front to back. I mean, it is a concept album, so you do have to listen to it front to back. I know people hate to do that because you have to listen to 2 minutes of every song, and you can't really listen to a full song, and you got to bounce around, and you got to hear this song, and oh my God, there's another song, and then we got to listen to this song, and nobody likes to hear stories anymore. But when you actually kick back and like sit there, it's a fantastic album. I love conceptual albums, and you can actually go on Muse's YouTube channel right now. They have a video there's 11 tracks on the album. They got a video, I think, for about 7 or 8 of them. And then they have what they call lyric videos for the other 3 or 4 that they don't have. So they actually have it's almost set up like a mini movie that you can sit there and watch. So, if you don't have the album, or if you don't have Google Play or, iTunes or anything that you can just go stream it out or listen to, go to YouTube, check it out that way. For me, it's been there's a couple songs on there that you could tell the Prince influence is so heavy. There's one song called Propaganda, and the song that comes right after that, I forget the name of it, but and I mean, there's just a couple tracks on there that are very, 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 very influenced by the 80s. It kind of gives off that kind of vibe. Really dug it, and there's not a lot of really great rock music out there right now, and I feel like this was one of the better rock albums that I've heard in a while. So go check it out.
We grew up in the era of elaborate music videos for a lot of different genres of music during the 90s and 2000s.
I'm older than MTV, cuz.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so that's what I mean. I like Aha Take On Me was like the first music video I fell in love with, because I was like, oh, this is so cool. They're going into the comic. So, and like that cheesy, and I still love that song to this day, and I still get made fun for it all the time. But yeah, man, like listen, that's when I remember when it was like when people spited MTV. One of my buddy's mothers had MTV blocked on their cable so that he just couldn't see it. Yeah. That's when David Lee Roth was going pretty crazy in his music videos, and Dave TV was pretty wild. They were pushing boundaries. Anybody from that grew up in the 80s, you guys remember. If not, look it up.
What do you think about lyric videos?
I like them. Love them. I'm big on. I read lyrics anyway, so it's funny you're actually just talking about this. Me, Sam, and AJ not too long ago. But, yeah, I'm big on when I get big into a song or an album or whatever. I always read lyrics. So
yeah, there was a couple of lyric videos. I forgot for which particular songs, but it was from the One More Light album that I saw on Linkin Park's YouTube channel that I was watching about this time last year. And I got appreciation for lyric videos too, just how it flows with the beats. At the same time, I think it's a nice touch that doesn't get enough attention. Yeah, I like how it is. The distribution for music is all over the place now, especially where you can upload albums and stuff on Spotify. Award shows don't have that much meaning because you don't really watch the music videos. Like, I don't remember the last time I woke up and like, oh, I want to check out the top 10 videos of what's on right now. I used to do that all the time when I was younger in elementary school. Every single morning. And it's not the case anymore, and it's not a slight on all current performers. I mean, there's some pop artists that like Camila Cabello. I think some of her songs are catchy. I mean, I wouldn't say I go to her concert or anything, but I think she has good songs. We all have our what do you would call it?
We all have our guilty little pleasures that we're not really supposed to like, but it's something that we, like, I shouldn't like Mean Girls as much as I do, but I love Mean Girls and I'm not shy about it whatsoever. So, I mean, let's just call it like it is. We all have our little things that's like,
Yeah. I was going to say this. Leo Rush reminds me of the kid from the Bertie Mac show.
That's the no, okay, it's a different kid, right? Because that's not the kid that was Everybody Hates Chris. Yeah.
Oh, it's somebody else.
Because he grew up and then everybody hated him on The Walking Dead too.
I'll say this though. I'm going to give a shout out to Leo Rush because he put on a really good match with Cedric Alexander last night on 205 Live. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. This kid could go. He's very, very good. Lashley.
Start with that. Yeah, no, listen, I knock Leo Rush. But I only knock him, because I only knock him because he reminds me of that he might possibly be one of Flavor Flav's illegitimate kids that he doesn't know about. I'm just tossing it out there. I mean, there's characteristics, but no, man, listen, he's getting the job done anyway, so obviously the jokes I'm bringing are just for humor purposes. He's supposed to get heat. He's getting heat. I haven't been caught up with 205 Live, but if he's putting on, stellar matches there, which the kid can go, he's doing his jobs as much as we hate to admit it. The kid's working, man. Yeah.
As you guys could probably tell, like, my schedule when it comes to, like, prepping for different pay-per-views and stuff is all over the place because one week you have a WWE pay-per-view, the next you can have a New Japan show, then Impact's having a show here and there. So, like, being a wrestling fan for me over the last 5 years has been very different from what I was at a younger age when I was just watching the shows for what they are. Like, just, like, you would go through one pay-per-view and then you're like, oh, okay, now we got to wait for the end of next month to go to the next thing. And I've seen, like, quick turnarounds from different pay-per-views. Like, I remember it was a few years back at the Survivor Series that had, like, a 2-week build. And this one had 3 weeks coming off of Crown Jewel. So being a wrestling fan and now doing transcriptions for these shows for a living now, it's my perspective of how to judge builds towards pay-per-views has kind of changed. It's been skewed in a lot of ways because a lot of these shows are shows now. Like the pay-per-views of pay-per-views is not as prevalent to me, especially like Survivor Series. Mm-hmm. Like it's not that important to me as Money in the Bank or some of these other Big Four shows now. Survivor Series still has tradition. They talked about it this entire week. Survivor Series is the second longest running pay-per-view in WWE history, and just like any other pay-per-view, I'm very excited for this Sunday, but I saw a lot of scuttlebutt talking about, how are you going to do this with a 3-week build for Survivor Series? This is one of the biggest pay-per-views ever, and you're just tap dancing and rushing things and this and that. And like, honestly, like there's so many trivial things that we argue about when it comes to builds towards shows or booking and this and that. I just get a laugh out of it now because, okay, you have a 3-week build towards a pay-per-view and a lot of things have changed coming off of Crown Jewel. Mm-hmm. You have two new world champions. You got different feuds coming up. You got Dean Ambrose finally talking now. Character changes, twists and turns, this, that, unfortunate injuries, which we'll get to later on in the show.
I was going to say, Roman Reigns obviously was a big factor into some of the stuff that's probably getting shuffled around too.
Right. So all I'm saying with this is just a different trickle down effects that happens at this time of the year, where somebody unfortunately gets injured, like Seth Rollins did in 2015, which changed all the plans going into WrestleMania 32. So, like, whether you have a unfortunate injury or you have a short time period to build big pay-per-views, you gotta take it for what it is. When I make my judgment on whether or not things are going well in a certain direction with a pay-per-view, I have to watch the pay-per-view first. Honestly, guys, Raw and SmackDown don't mean much to me as far as television is concerned. I'm sorry. I'm just speaking for myself personally. I'm not going to be tied down to whether a pay-per-view build is good or not off of storylines. I just never had that gauge for it. I've always watched wrestling for the matches. I have respect to storylines. It's just I don't know. Maybe it's from a mental standpoint. I can't relate that way. I don't know.
I think I think it depends, and I think this is where wrestling alternatives come into play, and kind of follow me on this one. I agree with absolutely, brother. I think that when I'm watching Ring of Honor, New Japan, whatever else I'm dipping into, I don't necessarily need that storyline. But remember, and I hate to beat a dead horse, but we watch WWE, whether we realize it or not, for the entertainment. Again, it's entertainment, and it's entertainment first. So with WWE, I actually would say that the storyline build is just as important as the match, because, which we'll get into it a little bit later, but Becky, Ronda screams main event. Charlotte, Ronda gets us excited towards the end of the night. See what I mean? We had one with a storyline and one without, and look at the difference. And I'm saying, obviously, it's because of the momentum that Becky had going for her. It's because of everything, we're going to get deeper into it, but that's because of the storyline. So I do think in WWE, storylines are just as important as the culmination of the match at the pay-per-view. I actually think the matches leading up to the pay-per-views are, for me, what I typically just write off. Because I think the storylines are what gets me to the pay-per-view. And then at the pay-per-view, it's like that moment in a comic book movie where you finally get to see the big battle, right? I don't want to see him battle 16 times before the big battle. And typically that's what we get when we watch Raw and SmackDown or whatever. And that's why, no disrespect to any of the men or women that are in the match, but unless it's a title match, we usually, just fast forward through it. So that way the pay-per-views have always feel bigger for us, Mm-hmm. And so I guess that's where with WWE, I flip it a little differently, because there's just so much to consume from pay-per-view to pay-per-view versus other promotions, I guess, or wrestling alternatives. So.
And I feel like a lot of my perspective has changed with not watching all 3 hours with commercials and doing the articles the day after the show, where I'm not having other people's opinions on the show thrust upon me, where I can just watch it for what it is. Yeah, you have your particular segments that drives the keys to the shows, and I think those are important. I mean, we saw it on Monday with Stephanie McMahon and Braun Strowman, or Ronda Rousey having that backstage interview about how Becky's the millennial man and this and that.
That's awesome.
Or AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan from SmackDown this week. Of course, any part, like you said, WWE is entertainment. I totally understand from that standpoint. But I just feel like, for me personally, over the last couple of years, I want to watch the key parts of the talking segments, but I don't feel like a whole show. For me, honestly, I don't care whether Raw or SmackDown is good every single week, because I know what the feud is. What I care about is the pay-per-views and how the story goes from there.
Yeah, I get you there. Yeah, for sure.
So let's start off with Daniel Bryan switch from SmackDown, because that's the big news topic that came out this week besides Becky Lynch. I want to read this post that Miz has put on Instagram, because it's pretty funny. I told you how Daniel Bryan really was, but you chose to ignore me. I told who the real Daniel Bryan was, but he chose to boo me. And now, after manipulating his way into the title match after title match after title match, the true colors of Daniel Bryan are finally on display for the world to see. Was I right all along? And he has a yes emoji next to it.
The best thing about this is they double turned us with, like, slyly have been double turning us with these two. This has been, you know, Josh, it's funny because this is a feud that we've all wanted, and everybody kind of gave up on it. And this is why I always say sometimes, like, we never, not just, you know, sometimes it gets frustrating, but we never know what their end game is. And if their end game was to get us to WrestleMania, they were going to tell us along, you know, if these two are going to go at Mania, which I would think so, right? At this point.
Yeah, probably.
And, you know, by this point now, we might have Miz is the baby face and Daniel Bryan is the heel, you know. And obviously, I mean, that's absolutely what it looks like. And none of us ever would have thought that, right? Like, we never in a million years. So in a way, I love how it was a great, for me, I mean, I thought SmackDown was great this week. And it was a great little mark out moment for me personally. So I know I'm not speaking for any other fans out there or the echo chamber or anything like that. I'm just, as a fan that watches, I know everybody in this house was a little happier with the outcome because we all love Daniel Bryan. We need to be interested in him again. That seemed to be the biggest complaint with everybody online. Wrestling, you know, the wrestling bubble just out of their thing.
Yeah.
Long story short, I think that's where hitting reset, Jesus Christ, and you have to send me this article while I'm trying to finish a point. But I'm going to talk. We'll talk about this in a second. But yeah, for you know, everybody, we've all kind of, I don't want to say we've all. That's again a broad paintbrush. But there's a lot of us that just felt like Daniel Bryan. How long? He's not that he's been stale, but his character's been stagnant for 3 years because of the injuries and because of everything else. That's not his fault. So we needed something different out of him, and this was. They worked it in so well, and I know that people don't like it, and they think that it doesn't make sense, and it's sudden, and now it messes with the Lesnar match and this and that, but it's funny that this is what we wanted anyway. Everybody always wanted Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, right? And then now you finally get it, and then they don't want it. You know, it's another one of those, Josh, where you know WWE listens, they give, but it's just because people don't get it how they want it, they get disenchanted by it. I think they did a fantastic job, and now like I'm full in again with like D-Bry and Miz and like this whole storyline and like seeing where they go from here.
I don't know if I want Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, but I'm not going to get on a soapbox about it. You know?
Right. Well, you know what I mean. Though. The general consensus, I guess, whenever I say, I guess I shouldn't say we. The general consensus in the wrestling bubble, you know, is you know. And then, because I don't necessarily know if I want to see that match, you know, but that's neither here nor there. It is a big money match. I think Paul Heyman sold it brilliantly, and you know that's something else too, man. Is that how do we even necessarily know that Daniel Bryan doesn't beat Brock Lesnar? It seems unbelievable. It seems like there's no way in hell it would ever happen, right? Yeah,
I'm leaning towards no shot.
I'm leaning towards no shot too, but man, with the way Heyman came in, and if you know what are they really doing with Lesnar, and this is kind of a way that they could humble him without taking the title off of him. You know, there's just I don't say humble him, but you know what I mean, like just if they, you know, because he's going to go away eventually, and WWE, as much as they want to keep making him look good, he's going to have to lose before he leaves.
Yeah,
I guess. Maybe not.
And I've always been consistent when it comes to this Daniel Bryan topic. Is I don't have an issue with him as a wrestler or as a character. It's just the topic of Daniel Bryan, where like, now WWE realizes Daniel Bryan's talent, this and that. I agree with you. I felt like need to change with his character and this and that, but this is the topic of main eventing WrestleMania and the lust for this Brock Lesnar Daniel Bryan match. It wasn't there for me, and I feel a lot of people are going to be on their feelings on Sunday if they don't get the match that they dream in their head about
Right.
Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan. That's where I come in with this. I have no issues with Daniel Bryan as a performer or what he brings to the WWE. It's just the topic and the hysteria of what his booking is and this and that. And it's really trivial at the end of the day. I just want to watch this guy perform at the end of the day. I don't give a shit if he main events another pay-per-view.
Right. And and let me make that clear. I don't necessarily think that Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar is a WrestleMania main event either. Like I don't think that, I just think this is something that it's just something that a lot of the fan base has been clamoring for whatever reason. And it's, sometimes when you get thrown curveballs because of injuries and because of one thing or another, sometimes you have to improvise on the fly. And Josh, I do think that in a way, this is the kind of, I guess, get some extra eyes on it because I do think that Becky and Ronda was the match this Sunday. It was the match. It was the match, and I think that nothing against Styles, but I don't think that they really, I was looking forward to it, but I don't think that they know that now that match had to be a little something extra. And I think that's what I just think there's going to be something a little more intriguing with this, because why would Paul Heyman come in like that? Why? I mean, unless he wanted, there's just, so even that layer of intrigue, and listen, it could be nothing, but that's the beauty of it, is just watching to find out where the story plays out,
Did you see the trailer for the Page movie?
A little bit, but not really, no. It's the worst answer ever. I saw like a clip, like a 3-second thing, no volume, nothing, and I tried, and I just was like, okay, I'm going to bed.
They announced that the movie's coming out in February of next year, so it's pretty cool. Paige seemed to be very happy with it, so it's cool. It's cool that her story is going to be actually going out on theaters, and they're going all out for it. I mean, I've seen a lot of different links towards the trailer itself. I think it's pretty cool. By the way, the article I sent you a couple minutes ago, we'll save that topic towards the end of the show because it's just ridiculous in itself.
It is ridiculous.
But going back to Survivor Series and what's going on right now. Last year at this time, the build for Survivor Series was Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles for the first time, and having Triple H and all these all-stars fighting each other at Survivor Series. And that whole thing led into the build-up for Triple H and the Authority against Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, because all brand supremacy, and Kurt Angle is the general manager of Monday Night Raw. I don't know. I feel like something big with WrestleMania is going to come out of this Raw versus SmackDown match. Like, I don't know what's going on with Shane McMahon, where he's going with his role as the commissioner of SmackDown. You got guys who either like each other or are indifferent towards each other. I mean, you got Finn Balor, Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, and somebody else on the same team against Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, The Miz, and Shane McMahon. So I don't know if WrestleMania feuds are going to come out of this, but last year it was a big deal, because remember last year we weren't doing the show together at the time, but I remember such vitriol over how the match ended, and this is dumb, and why did Triple H need to win the match, and yada yada yada. Yeah, Braun Strowman was the guy that closed out the pay-per-view, and they wanted to spotlight him towards the end of that pay-per-view. And now we are here a year later. I wonder what this could be, because Braun Strowman's in this match. He's in this match. I mean, do you start off Drew McIntyre against Braun Strowman? I have no idea.
I mean, they'll be on the same team, right? So I mean, so they couldn't start the match out. One of the two. I think you're right. I do think something for WrestleMania spins out of this. This is where they typically start to really plant seeds. They've
been doing this for the last couple years. I mean,
it's historical, yeah.
Yeah, especially the one they did with 2014 when Sting made his WWE debut. And it was the Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler final part of that match. I think something big's going to come out. I don't know what it is. Maybe I could come up with something when we do our predictions segment towards the end. I don't know. Does somebody from NXT debut or somebody we weren't expecting to show up? I don't know. I feel something's going to come out of this best in the world thing, though.
Yeah, I do too, because that's there, and it is kind of getting a little tired and played out. But that's good, though. Again, that's good because we're always in such a love affair with wrestling that we don't like when something pisses us off, forgetting that the story is supposed to piss us off sometimes so that we have something to cheer against. You know what I mean? Yes. Like they want us to like not like certain things. I know you want us to like all the product. Everyone thinks everything should be rainbows in it. No, sometimes you gotta like definitely not like certain aspects of it, so that way it helps put other people over. It helps put the product over in certain ways, whatever. But I think there'll probably be a couple surprises though. Maybe a debut. I have one written down potentially, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, but I don't know, man. I mean, I just hope that people just let this pay-per-view play out because it does already. And again, I know I keep bringing it up, but we're going to talk about it later. But it does already hurt knowing that probably your marquee match is gone. You know, not saying the replacement match isn't still, you know, but it's still not the match that we all were looking for. Yeah.
Really quick, I want to go over some of the rest of the stuff that happened this week on television. I thought Elias, his little spiel before his match with Bobby Lashley was pretty funny. What else? Corbin he's either losing his job soon. I don't know. Stephanie looked pissed towards the end of Raw. But remember, she said that was the end of the show after that whole invasion was going on. You need to do something. Yeah. You know? Yep. So I'm sure he'll get involved with that Raw vs. SmackDown match. The gender stuff with Brock Lesnar I thought was pretty funny. Just my opinion.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, for sure.
Those poor Singh brothers probably having some bad necks at this current juncture. That didn't look like fun.
At all.
No, not at all. I thought the Finn Balor Dolph Ziggler match was all right. It's a pretty solid match on Raw, and I think we should talk about this. The Corey Graves interview with Seth Rollins, which led to Dean Ambrose talking in the parking lot of Kansas City with the trash can on fire. What did you think about that?
I liked it. I thought it was. I don't know. It was good to hear some rhyme and reason behind it. I like how Renee seems to kind of be getting still a little bit like she's trying to stay out of it, but they kind of trying to keep inserting her in. So hopefully, my wish of maybe her becoming somewhat of a antagonist will come to fruition. But I like what we're getting out of this. I like this side of Dean Ambrose. I think it's having him separating him. And keeping him separated from the fans. Like one week he's out in the crowd, and I know he's not separated from the fans, but it's not like he's in the ring where the whole crowd can see him. So in a way, you're isolating him from half the arena. Then the next week he's outside when he's cutting his promo. You kind of need to do this in a way because he's gaining momentum as a bad guy, and that's not why they did this. But I think he's another character that we've waited so long for WWE to kind of tweak the character or change the character a little bit. We're all just so overjoyed about it. We're cheering for him when we're not supposed to be. So, but I loved it, man. I thought it was a killer promo.
The symbolic part about burning his pass down, I thought that was pretty tight. Mm-hmm. I thought that was pretty good.
I like that.
Graves being part of the segment I thought was very telling because he has as much history with the Shield as anybody else in the company. Even though they don't talk about it on television, I mean, you could consider Graves an honorary Shield member due to their days in FCW and stuff, and how tight he was with Roman Reigns too. So I thought that was another interesting part to this situation. Like, I don't know if Graves has history with Ambrose back then or whatever. I don't know. But,
I mean, they both probably coming up around this area, I'm sure, worked indie shows together. I mean, with Ambrose being from Cincy, Graves being from here in Pittsburgh, I'm sure they were in these circuits, left and right and up, and I'm sure they've crossed paths before, back in the Sterling James Keenan days. Sterling James Keenan versus John Moxley. Can you imagine now being able to say that you saw one of those matches?
Right.
I'm gonna go search and see if they did ever wrestle. Which I, for some reason, think maybe they might have been. I don't know. I hate to say that. Maybe CZW for like a quick one-off or so. I don't know. I'm probably totally wrong, but I'm gonna go look now.
Really quick, I forgot the line that Graves used for Sasha Banks this week, but it was fucking hilarious.
I forgot to bring it up last week too. He had a great Joker Batman quote a couple weeks ago. Something about we could watch these two fight forever or whatever. They're like Batman and Joker. We want them to fight forever. Yes.
Oh shit. From SmackDown, I really liked looking back at the show. I thought the New Day Bar Big Show match was all right. The 6-man tag team match.
Real quick. No, because I got to bring this up because it is funny, and I know people listening to this are like they can tell. We're trying to dodge the Becky situation so bad because we're saving it for the end that we're tripping over our own words, like talking about segments, because we're trying to, like, we can't talk about the end of Raw yet because it really kind of ties into SmackDown. But we know that that's like, so we're like, and it's so funny, dude, because I know people listening to this are like just probably laughing their asses off because we're totally trying to avoid everything dealing with that right now. And it's just not working.
Yeah, so New Day fought the Bar in the Big Show 6-man tag team match. Randy Orton is still trying to RKO everybody after every match.
I like that. I like how Orton slid in and then end up RKOing. RKOing the Miz, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, Miz was salty about Rey Mysterio being on his team and stuff. So Paige was like, "Oh, if you beat Mysterio, he's off the team." Mm-hmm. And then that's why they had their match. So, yeah, you know what? Before we get to the Becky stuff, I wanted to say really quick, one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most when it comes to Survivor Series this weekend is Nakamura and Seth Rollins for it being... Yeah, for it being the first time. And just...
You break my heart.
Yeah, you break my heart.
That was so great.
His affection for giving knees to face. And then he said on Tuesday he's going to break Rollins' face. You broke my heart. Now I break your face.
That was so... I love that. It's like, you don't talk about me. That was so good, man. So well played.
Oh, shit. Really quick, good brother, is it that time?
Not yet. No, not yet. You'll know when it's time. Okay. We'll start talking about the main topic first, and we're gonna slide that in at one point. But you'll know when it's time.
Now, I saw there's news that came out about the Mixed Match Challenge. So whoever wins the Mixed Match Challenge this year will get a fully expensive paid trip to wherever they go. Yeah, I saw that. I started laughing. I started laughing because Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss were supposed to be tag partners, but Alexa's been out with the injury, so everyone's been taking her place. Can you picture Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss having their own rendezvous or whatever?
Yeah, what are they doing? It's like it's a paid trip to the next event. It's like they don't have to pay for travel for one day.
Yeah, yeah.
Free Uber to work. Woo!
Yeah, your hotel to your house show on Saturday is all paid for.
Right.
Yeah, so that's one part of it. But the main part of it is whoever won got to enter number 30 for their prospective Royal Rumble matches.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, now we're talking.
So TLC will be the finals of the Mixed Match Challenge. So with it being the last pay-per-view of the year, heading into the Royal Rumble, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
The Mixed Match Challenge.
Anytime you can make something feel a little bit more important, a little more special, whether it's a title opportunity or something like this, entering, get the number 30 spot, it does make it more exciting. I think sometimes as wrestling fans, we do need that. We need the carrot dangled in front of us to take it,
Can you see AJ Styles and Charlotte winning it, though?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can. Now, I'm not necessarily saying they're winning the Rumbles. Maybe Styles, but I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
I was looking at the advertisers they're doing for WrestleMania, because this week they're selling WrestleMania tickets. They come out tomorrow, I think, right? That's when they come out?
Probably. Sounds about right.
Yeah, so they come out to the public this week. And, usually in the last couple of years, you can look at advertising for the next year's WrestleMania. You can know what matches are going to be on that show just based on how, like, posters are positioned and this and that. Maybe some stuff you see on Twitter. But this year I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen on this WrestleMania. I think that's kind of a cool thing to look forward to. So many years you go into WrestleMania season and you just be like, okay, let's see how they lead up to this thing. And, I had a good time at WrestleMania last year. I thought it was a good show.
You always have a blast at Mania. That's what people forget. Like, it's when you go, it's always a blast. It's rarely about the card. It's about the experience.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about going from New Jersey to Brooklyn to New Jersey. They got TakeOver and RAW and SmackDown at the Barclays Center. They got WrestleMania obviously at MetLife Stadium. Unfortunately, they don't have good football coming out of MetLife Stadium, but yeah.
I mean, I had good football coming out of Oakland either, so I can't say shit. I don't even know if we're playing football anymore in Oakland. Like, I actually think the lease is already up. We're just like having scrimmages, and next season we're just going to be a floating team until we're in Vegas.
I've been to New York when I was a younger kid, but I've never been to East Rutherford, New Jersey before. I don't know if anything special there or whatever. I don't know.
I was at the old stadium when I was a little kid, man, when it was Old Giant Stadium before the renovations and stuff. My dad was living in Newark, New Jersey at the time, and he took me to a USC Syracuse, that kickoff classic game or whatever they have every year. I was probably my daughter's age. Like, I was young. And we were right above the USC band, and like just the boom, 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 like hitting all the drums and all that fucking loud, annoying, like the brass section, all that stuff. I'm a little kid. I'm like, third quarter, I had such a headache. I was like, we got to go. Like, I cannot stay here anymore.
I got a nice deposit the other day, so I'm maybe considering going to New York for WrestleMania this year, but I won't go for TakeOver. I went to TakeOver last year with Brett Carr because he wanted to see TakeOver for the first time, so that's what we saw the night before WrestleMania. This year, I want to check out the Ring of Honor New Japan Madison Square Garden show. I've never been to a Garden show, so I just want to see how it is there.
Yeah,
to check it out. So I'll keep you guys updated if I go to New York or not. It's been fun going to these WrestleMania trips. It's like my one time of the year to come out of Chicago and spend some time by myself and take these trips. Not just for WrestleMania, but just the experience of being by myself and this and that. I'm still a young guy, by the way. And just having more time, having independence now and, going to work each week and just doing my own thing now. It's just the fun part about growing these days, and I don't take that for granted. I always been a modest guy, sometimes to a fault, but I like being independent, and it's cool doing stuff for myself now, so I'm not really dependent on anything. I like doing things on my own terms, so.
Yeah, it's great. Appreciate it while you have it.
Right. Mm.
I just got a notification. My Marty Skrull Villain Club hoodie should be coming tomorrow. Nice. I wasn't kidding you guys last week when I talked. I warned all you guys. I said I was buying it. Ain't no one listened.
Black Friday's coming up next Friday, obviously, and I need to look into see what I want for Christmas this year. Like, what would I get myself at Pro Wrestling Tea Store or something? I gotta see what's out there. Dude, it's interesting. They got 2 house shows in Chicago Christmas. They got a SmackDown one at the Allstate on Wednesday, the 26th. And then they're doing a show at the United Center that's like 5 minutes from my house, driving distance, on the 29th, which is a Saturday, which is crazy. Wow. I don't know if the arenas are going to have beef with each other, but there's 2 house shows in Chicago towards the end of the year if you guys want to check it out. Which is kind of different because last year we had Raw live on Christmas Day. Mm-hmm. I did go to that show last year. I don't know. I don't know about Christmas on Mondays.
I thought they were coming here in Pittsburgh in December too.
Christmas is on Tuesday this year, right?
I think so, yeah. I don't think they were going to be here for that, though. Man, I got to see. I'm looking that up right now. Sorry, guys. I know that I'm kind of Mr. Dead Space here today, but I'm just kind of looking up things. December 29th. Oh, it's a Saturday, so it's just a live event. It's not even a SmackDown. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, house shows.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Live event is.
So, coming out of Survivor Series, it's going to be a nice cool-down break where you're not having another house show or live event that network that you need to prepare for. We go into TLC and we go into this Royal Rumble build, and I'm very curious to see how the stage is going to be for this baseball stadium in Arizona. I'm actually excited for it. I think it's going to be a pretty cool sight to see, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anytime they do something special or different, it's just fun. You know what I mean? I guess that's where we take it for granted anymore. That's the problem. You know, we've become so used to expecting it, we forget that like we are gifted these things sometimes.
Right. Before we get to Survivor Series, I wanted to talk about NXT TakeOver War Games. That's coming up this Saturday on the WWE Network, so we'll make our predictions for that right now. We got the second edition of the War Games. You got Undisputed Era against the War Raiders, War Machine, whatever the fuck you want to call them, Ricochet and Pete Dunne. I have a little gripe about the War Games match. I like the concept, and I like how like the cage setup is. I think the concept's cool, but I don't know why it's not an elimination match. I was thinking about this last year as I was covering the show, and it's, you know, you have your different time intervals of who can enter the cage at one time, but it all ends by one pinfall. You got like 10 guys in the match. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would be a little better if it was elimination style, you know? I don't know.
No, I agree. And you know what? As this was going through, I actually just caught some news that was coming through that I don't know if this was yesterday, I guess, on Twitter. That's why I'm sorry. I don't know. And I don't want to be the guy that's always like, guys, don't act like this. But like Cody and Punk actually like teamed up surprisingly to kind of like, not teamed up, but just say kind of basically tell a fan, shut up, watch what you post on social media, and watch how you talk, basically how you talk about women. Because this guy had some things to say about Mickie James. And yeah, like watch what you say about women. Like this is like horrible. So good on Punk, good on Cody. It's a beautiful thing when people can just like come together again, isn't it? To just shut down stupidity. So
yeah,
it's a wonderful thing.
Always good for some synergy out there, you know?
Yep.
Oh, speaking of Punk, he was on WGN the other day playing a game. All right. So, really quick, I wanted to mention this. We got the Wars Game match. Obviously, Undisputed Era is, I guess that's their gimmick now. Every year they'll be in the War Games matches as long as they're in NXT. Is this the send-off for Undisputed Era?
You know, I don't know. On this one, I feel like it's either, I'm not going to say a send-off, but either maybe a send-off, maybe a new recruit, you know? You know, maybe somebody, they have an addition to the faction, to the stable. Could be somebody from outside the company. It could be somebody in the match. You know, that's kind of what I'm looking for in this one. You know, I feel like there's something that they could do there that way. I haven't seen NXT in so long. I don't want to like comment on like what I think might be going on or not going on as far as, you know, the characters go. There's only one character, one person I think that might be coming up sooner than later now. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, man, I don't know. NXT is one where like we talked about in the beginning, NXT is one where I know the matches are always so on point. I can get the quick review of the storyline beforehand, and they sell me on the match with it, you know. So it's typically like I can just dive into TakeOver,
right?
And that's a good thing. I'm not saying that's not a negative thing, guys. That's a good thing. Still watch NXT, guys.
The future for Adam Cole is interesting. I just wonder if this is a send-off and they go to Raw or SmackDown after Survivor Series, or you want to give Adam Cole a shot at the NXT title going into the last Brooklyn TakeOver 5, I think it is. Yeah,
it'll be in. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. Cause there's a lot of moving parts going on right now in NXT, and I don't know. with the injuries and with kind of everything kind of getting shook up a little bit, now isn't necessarily a bad, now would be a great time to bring some talent up. It worked last year with the Riot Squad. Right after Survivor Series, it just seemed like, that's when a couple of debuts after Survivor Series, I feel like is always a good thing too. So.
Right. Next one we have here, we got Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano. I told you about this last week. Johnny Gargano's kind of channeling his Darth Vader-ish, and he's like, I did nothing wrong. Like, he's playing reverse psychology on everybody, and Aleister Black's really the bad guy. From a match standpoint, obviously these two are going to rip it up. It's probably the match I'm looking forward to the most on Saturday. Aleister Black is my favorite guy from NXT, and seeing this different nuance to Johnny Gargano's character is pretty nice because I'll admit I was kind of getting over with the Daniel Bryan replays with him on NXT.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's just my opinion.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
So it's going to be an awesome match. I'm going to go with Aleister Black in this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Johnny won either. It's going to be a fun match, and I'm really excited for it.
I'm going to go with Aleister Black in this one. And again, I haven't seen anything other than you. I think you and probably, the people that I live with, my wife and kid, are the only ones that, I don't want to say that knew this. It's just I don't talk. I'm not on social media and stuff, but you knew, brother, as soon as that angle happened, I thought it was Gargano from the beginning. So, yeah. So I'm glad that it paid off this way. You're right. It's sometimes it's just, for me, it's just, I like to see depth with these characters. I like to see them play all these roles. I like to, it goes back to the whole comparing it to Saturday Night Live all the time. Like, I like seeing variety out of the men and women that perform in the ring, Not everybody has to have that, but the people that we really want to see succeed, I think it's good to have that depth. You know what I mean? Like, I love when somebody can work dark or work light. I like when I like when somebody can be the comedic fodder, or they could be like how Jericho's this ruthless alpha right now. You know what I mean? So I think there's so much more to it, and when people get upset because their favorite wrestler isn't a good guy anymore, that just it's like I laugh and it's like good.
Yeah.
Good. When people start to complain, I'm like, good, WWE is doing something right. Or no matter where if it's their NXT umbrella, like whatever umbrella it's under. If you're mad that Daniel Bryan's a heel or Johnny Gargano's a heel or whomever, good. You're supposed to be.
Right.
Good.
I totally agree with you, brother. And I want to make an NXT and SNL tie here. I don't know about Gargano because he's kind of doing the Sean Connery beard right now. I was looking back at some Celebrity Jeopardy stuff with Daryl Hammond. Obviously, he played Sean Connery on the Celebrity Jeopardy skits, and I was looking at how he separated his beard on that skits and how Johnny Gargano. I thought that was pretty funny.
I used to shave my beard real weird like that when I would accidentally forget to put a guard on when I would go to trim my beard, and when it would be off. So I'd totally shave one line off, and I'd be like, oh man, but you didn't want to shave the rest of your beard, so I'd shave a stupid line on the other side and have to look like an idiot for a month because I can't grow. Especially 10 years, 15 years ago, I certainly couldn't grow facial hair. When at age 39, I can't grow facial hair worth a damn.
So there's going to be 4 matches on this TakeOver show. I was talking about this with Adam before we recorded the show today. So they're doing 4 shows, and they're giving more time because the next match we'll talk about here, Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler is going to be 2 out of 3 falls. So they're going to give the women a lot of time on this show. So I think it's a cool thing. I got Shayna retaining here, and they're definitely going to add some more steam to the MMA 4 horsewomen who are now actually accompanying her to ringside now to these matches. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to agree with you 100% there because I think that's where they're keeping it.
All right, Tommaso Ciampa and Velveteen Dream is the NXT title match on this TakeOver. By the way, have you seen a trend lately, ladies and gentlemen? Besides Johnny Gargano or Aleister Black title reigns, it doesn't matter what it is. You could have a TakeOver and not have the NXT title main event show.
Right.
So Ciampa and Velveteen Dream is going to be happening. I'm excited for this match. I love Velveteen Dream. That guy just exudes charisma. Mm-hmm. I got a chance to interview that guy a couple years ago. Patrick Clark is a very nice person, and I'm very happy to see him having this much success in NXT. And I think it's really cool. Tommaso Ciampa, we don't need to kiss his ass. We all know how good that guy is. I'll admit though, Tommaso Ciampa has the best Twitter game out of everybody in wrestling right now.
It's up there, if not the best. He's definitely top 3. I mean, he's solid. By the way, I'll give a shout out to the good brother Nick Giacobbe. He has a good podcast. If you don't get a chance to watch NXT every week and you want to catch up with it, Nick and the good brother Phil Cataldo from Rant with Ants podcast, they have a show called Who Got Next, who they talk and break down NXT and the NXT UK shows. If you don't get a chance to watch these shows live, go check out their podcast. They really catch you up with what's going on with that type of rent. That's their favorite style of wrestling, and I think that's cool. And Nick does a good job. He's going to school right now, the Full Sail. By the way, the Dan Patrick School of Broadcasting, sports broadcasting, is a little seminar school program they have at Full Sail University, and Nick's actually attending Full Sail University right now in college. So I think it's really cool. So I'm happy for Nick. I got a chance to meet him a couple years ago in Orlando. He's a really good kid, and I'm happy for him that he's taking on this broadcasting thing. And he asked me about broadcasting when I met him a couple years ago. I'm very happy for him. He does a really good job. So go check out Who Got Next if you don't get a chance to watch and know the storylines for NXT. Yeah, I love seeing Nick all the time on TV, man. I love seeing him. Like I said, I know I always say it, but I love seeing him live his best life because that's what I should have. Nick is what would have happened if I didn't listen to the people around me, if I would have trusted my gut and not the people that said, no, don't leave. You never want to leave your hometown. And I'm like, no, I really want to go try and do this stuff that I like. No, stay here and be a school teacher. Nobody leaves Beaver County. Not alive, at least. Nick, man, you don't understand how much I am living vicariously through you, brother.
All right, brother. That's a wrap for War Games. So I guess we could transition to Survivor Series, right?
No. We got to get into the Becky Lynch stuff.
Okay.
We got do you want to say that for? No, yeah, we got to before we get into Survivor Series, we got to talk about the Becky stuff.
All right, good.
Let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll start. I'll start this one. I wasn't going to kick into it yet, but screw it. I guess this is going to be this week's Daily Stop. But I was gonna wait. I was gonna come in. I was gonna wait to set it up. But you know what? I'm just gonna do all the setting up on this one. I'll recap. You guys saw. We've all seen it. But the big invasion on Raw Monday night. Becky comes in. Becky's got Ronda in the armbar in the back. Comes out as the man. Looks like she's going to take on 7 other women. And then SmackDown invades, takes over. Becky takes an unfortunate, pretty stiff right cross from Nia Jax. Bloodied up. I believe added to the effect of the invasion. I mean, you never want to see somebody get hurt or injured or anything. But I'm going to say this. It made it feel a hell of a lot more intense, and it gave it that bigger feel, The unfortunate side of it, as we know, is that Becky Lynch suffered some injuries. She's got some broken, they just referred to it as a broken face, but some broken bones that way, at least a broken nose, a severe concussion. And the match is off this Sunday with Ronda Rousey. A match, Josh, that I think Becky Lynch was going over in. If you want my personal opinion, I think that this was going to be Ronda Rousey's first loss by hook or crook. I just think that Becky had all the momentum. I know that right now she has all the fans' momentum behind her. She's been working her ass off for years. She has been overlooked only because she's been a team player. She hasn't been overlooked by the company. That's the one thing that I think that everybody needs to get off their high horse about. WWE always knew what they had in Becky Lynch. She is a fantastic performer. She is a very intelligent businesswoman, and she knew that eventually it was going to be her time. And she knew that when it was going to be her time, she was going to seize that moment. So that's one thing about the Daily Stop this week that, I'm going to let you guys finish, but stop with they didn't know what they had in Becky. They absolutely knew what they had in Becky. Does it sound great for a story? Absolutely. But WWE knew what they had in Becky Lynch. They just knew that timing is everything. And she was a big ambassador for WWE outside of the ring. So, you have to think, sometimes it's business over the entertainment side. And because Becky is so intelligent, is she, is so scholarly, is so well versed, she is perfect for the WWE brand to be an ambassador. So now that we finally kind of have her in a Stone Cold moment, though, like we keep talking about, this is what I really want us to stop doing. This is stop wrestling fans, stop treating wrestlers let's stop treating wrestlers like we're on fucking Tinder. Okay, this is what we need to stop doing. Every week it's somebody new that we're swiping left, or I don't know what side we're supposed to swipe. I don't fucking use those things.
You got
whatever.
It right.
I'm listen.
I never been on it, but you got it right.
Listen, all joking aside for a second, like before I really get into the show, we've been kind of like looking for a new dog lately because you guys know my dog passed away a month ago, and it's been a month, so maybe it's time or sometime down the line, and it's just good to look. But it feels so like unauthentic and like unnatural. It's like, oh, I don't like this dog, swipe left. I don't like this dog, swipe left. It's just so horrible. Like it feels like not like these animals bring you so much love and life and everything. And it's just like, I'm just kidding about that too. But so if you ever want, that's what I also think about these online dating apps too. Is I'm pretty sure it's just like you're looking at animal shelters for your play toy for a little bit, and then you're just I guess swiping to a different side. But listen, wrestling fans, you're like people on Tinder or whatever these sites are, or whatever they are. Because every week it's, we're swiping right on Nia Jax. We can't wait for them to do, and Nia can do no wrong. But then, God forbid, an accident happens and she hurts dear Becky, and oh my God, now we're swiping left. Oh, we're swiping left. We hate her. Now we hate her, and there's a reason to hate her. And then we have no reason to hate her. Listen, if there's a little bit of heat on Nia backstage, I think we take heat, we take it way out of line. Could there be some heat on her, could there be some people backstage upset with her because this was the biggest draw of Survivor Series? Yeah, probably. Does this mean she's going to lose her job? No. Let's look back in history. Did Owen Hart lose his job when he broke Stone Cold Steve Austin's neck? No, he didn't. Were people going after him like this? No. They used it as a gimmick. Seth Rollins, John Cena a couple years ago, Cena Orton over the years injured each other. When Triple H tore his quad in that match, was it Jericho's fault or, for standing in the wrong place, or why aren't we blaming Jericho for finding the walls of Jericho on him? Why is it always seemingly like it's only been like this like the past couple years or so? Like I've been podcasting now for about 4 or 5 years. And it's really only popped up in the past couple years where all of a sudden, if an accident happens, and listen, this ain't ballet. This is ballet where you throw fists. And when you're throwing fists and you're really trying to sell an invasion, sometimes accidents are going to happen.
Yeah.
This reminds me, you remember the joke, which was a bad tasting joke. That's why I'm bringing it up. But Rey Mysterio killed someone. Remember when that was going around? That was the clickbait headline at every dirt she put out there. Rey Mysterio, blah, blah, blah. It was an unfortunate accident that happened in the ring. And with Yes, thank you. So what I'm getting at, guys, is like everybody wants to just it's like instantly wants to go nuclear on Nia Jax. Why aren't we going nuclear on Ronda Rousey though? Because she's furthering the storyline on social media, just like Nia Jax is. But we're going after Nia Jax. I'm not saying me. I'm not saying Josh. I'm saying we as the internal wrestling community inside the echo chamber cylinder bubble that, the people that think that they own the wrestling industry when it's really only 5% of probably who watches it. But that's neither here nor there. Right. We sit there and we criticize and we wait for those moments to turn on these men and women so that we could say, it's your fault somebody got hurt. It's your fault we're not getting what we want. Listen, life just happens. Life isn't fair. If I told you what I've been through this calendar year alone, you would see how trivial Becky Lynch's injury is to me. Now, it's not, because absolutely you never want to see anybody get injured, especially Josh. I've been saying for weeks now, and I'm not the only one, hands down, Becky Lynch has been the best attraction on either show. I think it's far and away Becky Lynch. She's ran with this character. That's grabbing the brass ring. Like she had absolutely. And in a way, this injury, I think, is only adding to the legend. It's only going to build an even bigger picture for her when she comes back. Now, see, here's the thing: what people don't get. We were probably getting a double turn out of this anyway. We were probably having Becky end up face out of this and Ronda turning heel because Ronda's was probably either losing and or something. There was going to be something. Maybe the Stone Cold. Maybe Becky passes out. Right. We're not going to get that now. The only thing that I'll admit that I'm a little bit as a fan And as a fan, just like anybody listening to this that's so mad at Nia Jax for accidentally doing wrestling things in a wrestling ring, the only thing that I'm upset about is that if it was meant to be for Becky to be the first one to beat Ronda, she earned it. She busted her ass for it, and that really would have been something for Becky Lynch to hold on to, maybe even more so than a title, you know. And I guess as a fan, that's the only real disappointing thing out of this for me. Not taking anything away from Charlotte, not taking anything away from Ronda Rousey. I mean, I'm still looking forward to this match too. But we all kind of wanted to see, I think, Becky win, and I think we all enjoyed this Becky character so much, and that's why we're reacting the way that we are to the injury. But we have to remember it's an injury. We're so quick to blame when we forget that it's. Everybody is not only, you're also in charge of your own body in there. Yeah, absolutely. Did it look stiff? Sure. But again, if they weren't stiff, we'd be calling them divas. I actually thought it was kind of refreshing to see a woman, the man, out there, bloodied up, still going, not a Barbie doll laying on the ground. This is the man. So it defined the character that she's playing. So instead of being mad at Nia Jax for doing wrestling things in a wrestling ring, instead of being mad at the situation because we're not getting the match, instead of being mad at WWE, instead of being mad because it's just all misdirected hostility. Let's look at the positives. Becky Lynch's legend is growing, and it's growing, and it's growing. And while injuries aren't ideal, sometimes injuries are launching pads. The rocket ship was already attached. Somebody just got to hit the fuse now, baby. And when she comes back, we're going to see some big, big things. I hope, my only hope is that Rousey's streak is still intact for Becky to take it. That's trivial and that's petty. So for everybody just trying to get on Nia, and I feel bad for Nia. That's kind of why I wanted to do this is the Daily Stop this week, because Nia has had such a rough go when it comes to how fans have treated her. Fans have been so bipolar with her through her entire career. Like they've had such a they love her one minute and hate her the next, and it's always been very trivial. And I feel bad for Nia because I think that she's getting a lot of unfair criticism from people that have never even you've never even stepped inside of a gym that's had a wrestling ring in it, let alone through the ropes inside that wrestling ring. Accidents happen, and a broken nose, broken face, whatever, definitely isn't a broken neck. It definitely isn't somebody losing their life. It definitely isn't career threatening. This is something that Becky Lynch is going to come back stronger and better from. Everybody is. Stop being everybody's parents all the goddamn time, wrestling community. And now, this.
Thank you, good sir. I wanted to add on to that really quick. One of the major issues I have with society right now is the major emphasis on cherry picking on what's right and what's wrong with certain situations. Like I feel the whole thing with going after Nia Jax and just the coincidence of her being the number one contender. She won that Battle Royal Evolution. And like, oh, okay, here we go. Here's the girl that's been handed everything. Oh, so she's going to go into her business in herself and take a spot from Becky because, she's the Rock's cousin. She wants to beat Ronda. I just think that's stupid. I'm sorry, folks. I just think that's stupid. And that's your actual reasoning to go after Nia Jax as a person over this situation. I feel sorry for you. I really do.
You know what I took that I thought I was more offended by? And obviously I'm kidding. I really wasn't offended by it. But this is what I thought was more controversial. I thought Alexa Bliss saying Tamina Snuka just was born with that killer instinct was a little more controversial. Like maybe that line could have been tweaked and not used killer instinct. Born with that instinct, say it's in a genes. Yeah, I know. And I'm obviously totally joking because Tamina will whoop my ass here to fucking sideways. But yeah, so I actually took more away of like maybe that phrasing could have been a little bit different versus, and listen, I saw the shot. I mean, but when it's hectic and there's chaos and it's a brawl and it's supposed to be that hectic. Just like Daniel Bryan choking Justin Roberts, like he got caught up in the moment. He had to get suspended for it. He served his time, but he didn't know. They got told to go out there and just wreck shop. Shit happens, man. I mean, shit just happens. And I hate that everybody's angst has to get turned on one person just so that they could say there always has to be a scapegoat. And I guess that's the unfortunate thing. People can't just have accidents in the workplace, especially when your workplace is physical. I don't understand why why that's such a random, outlandish theory of wow, it's just, an accident, Now, am I saying that, this obviously can't keep happening, but at the same time, let's just cool it with the whole Nia is an unsafe worker deal.
It's interesting. I was getting ridiculed at a certain time when I was on the pipe bomb. This is after you left, but I was kind of getting ridiculed from the neighborhood, and I'm using air quotes here, for saying that Becky Lynch was going to be the standout from the Four Horsewomen. And I'm not here to brag towards anybody. That's not where I'm going with this.
I've always said the same. Yeah.
But it's really cool to see that she's getting her due now. I think it's very, very, very cool that she's getting her due. And it's long overdue. I think it's very, very long overdue that she's getting this spotlight. And she's earned it. She's got the respect from the fans. She's got respect from peers and stuff. And I think it's very, very cool. So, Becky Lynch, I hope she recovers from this really quick. It's not to the point where she's going to drop the SmackDown Women's Championship. And we'll go from there. We'll go from there. But, like I said, I'm not going to come in here and be like, oh, I told you so that Becky was going to be the most popular one out of all of them. That's not my goal, and I think that's stupid.
I don't.
To tout who's going to be the best, who's going to be the worst. This doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, plus, we wanted to see all four of them succeed. We just kind of all had our favorites, and it's just I was the same. Becky was always my favorite too, and same thing. I got criticized from everybody in every wrestling little camp that we were doing, I guess particulars in. But at the same time, listen, all four of those women were so talented. They all have an opportunity to be spotlighted, and Bayley too. And it's going to be Bayley's time eventually, and so that's the thing that also kills me, Josh, is it always has to be that there can only be one. It just can't be that everybody's successful. We always have to make sure that it's just one over the other,
Right. So, let's get into Survivor Series before we get out of here for the podcast this week. Survivor Series coming up this weekend on the WWE Network from the Staples Center in Los Angeles. So, big market for the WWE with a big pay-per-view. So, hopefully the crowd's not a bunch of Nimrods, but I'm not gonna keep my hopes up. The kickoff match, we got the tag team divisions for both Raw and SmackDown. By the way, I forgot to mention this when we were talking about SmackDown earlier. I really liked that Usos promo they did backstage.
I'm glad you brought that up, dude. Yeah, that was awesome. It was they were great, and every team that was in that was great. Just the little introductions that they did. I like that.
Yeah. Bring the blue penitentiary.
Oh, it was cool, man. It was so cool. They did a really good job on SmackDown this week. So I don't know why people were. I don't know, man. I give up anymore because when I watch a show and I think it's good, the internet thinks it sucks. When I watch a show and I'm like, it was all right. People were like, oh, it was the greatest ever. I give up. I give up.
Yeah, just like every NXT takeover. All right, let's move on. We got, for the SmackDown side, we got the Usos, New Day, Sanity, the Colognes, and Carl Anderson and the Good Brother Luke Gallows taking on Team Raw captains Bobby Roode and Chad Gable against the Revival, B-Team, Lucha House Party, and the Ascension. So I'm sure we'll get some Corey Graves digs towards the Lucha House Party during this match. This will be on the kickoff show. Sole survivor for me, this match will be the Usos and New Day.
So that doesn't make them sole survivors, but I will say that those two are the ones that survive because screw it, whatever. I just feel like the Young Bucks are going to end up on SmackDown next year. Sorry, that's just that, and I think
that's the big get for Fox.
I feel like that's where, if they are signing, if that's what they're hinting at with the ticking of the clock, SmackDown is at their home. I mean, they New Day, Usos, The Bar. Those are three feuds right off the bat that are just scream money,
I think this is going to be a big year for SmackDown when it comes to this pay-per-view, especially since they've been doing the bragging rights format the last couple of years. So I think SmackDown's going to get more of an advantage on Raw this year. Buddy Murphy against Mustafa Ali, one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most this Sunday, Cruiserweight Championship. I got Mustafa Ali actually upsetting Buddy Murphy this one, so I'm going with Chicago's own Mustafa Ali.
I'll go with Buddy Murphy just because he just got the title not too long ago, and no other reason because I haven't watched 205 Live. I have no other reason than
Next Raw for SmackDown match, we got the tag champions, Authors of Pain against The Bar. This is going to be stiff. This is going to be fun. I'm excited for this match. I'm going with AOP in this one.
Them versus The Bar. I'm actually going with The Bar on this one.
Okay.
Because I'm going to go with The Bar just because I think this is one where like they'd always have an up-and-comer go against Kane, and Kane would still win, and people would get all mad, but then the up-and-comers would end up like just, you know what I mean? It's kind of one of those litmus test matches, and I think this is just to get them not as green, I guess, on the main stage, so that way they can go back to Raw and be the powerhouse tag team they need to be.
Yeah, Big Show will knock out Drake Maverick. We'll add that.
Yeah. There's a size difference.
If you want to prop that would be one of them. Big Show knocks out Drake Maverick. By the way, I love Drake Maverick. He's doing a good job.
Yeah, he's awesome.
All right, the women's Survivor Series elimination match. We got Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, Natalya, and Ruby Riott representing Raw against. We got Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville, Asuka, and to be determined. Originally it was going to be Charlotte, but obviously Charlotte's replacing Becky in the match with Ronda Rousey. I think it's going to be Nikki Cross.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's what I had written down. I think the safe money bet's probably Mandy Rose, but I think this is where Nikki Cross comes up officially.
I got Raw winning, but I got Ruby Riott being the sole survivor in this particular match.
I like that. Man, I guess, yeah. I really, really, really wanted SmackDown to win this match just because of the momentum with the invasion angle and everything else that way. But this would be a good way to do a sleight of hand move on that. I like the idea of having Ruby as the sole survivor. Oh, man. I guess I'm going to have to go with Raw on this one.
And by the way, everybody wants Nia Jax to get a receipt. Just let Asuka driven a couple of real shots.
Yeah.
A smile on her face.
But I see that's the thing with like Asuka, with Nikki Cross, with Carmella. I want to see SmackDown win this match, but I want to see where they're going with everything too. You know, there's like you said, I think this is another match I think we're going to start to see WrestleMania storylines come out of.
The Riot Squad and the beautiful Alexa Bliss will be at ringside this match. Alexa Bliss will be the captain for Team Raw on Sunday for the women's match. So, I just think Ruby wants to get a big spotlight win on a show like that. You saw what it did for Randy Orton. He really made a name for himself for being Mr. Survivor Series before getting his title shots and stuff. So maybe same thing can happen for Ruby. All right, next one. Men's match. Here we go. Dudes and testosterone. Team Raw, we got Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor, and Bobby Lashley with Baron Corbin and Leo Rush on ringside. There will be no Lashley commentary. But on SmackDown, we got The Miz, Shane McMahon, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. I have no idea who's winning this match. I don't. And that's what we were talking about earlier with some of these WrestleMania stipulations here. I don't know. I can see
Stephanie's.
I feel like The Miz may win. How about that?
I feel like at one point Stephanie's going to get involved in this match because it just feels like they obviously can't have Stephanie versus Shane, but with Shane running with this, like winning that, winning the best in the world thing, and then now he's on this team, and he's like in some sort of wrestling capacity. I don't know who he is going. I mean, he's obviously going to have a WrestleMania match then, so I don't know who his opponent will or won't be. But it's just the way Stephanie was acting at the end of Raw. I just feel like she's going to insert herself somehow in this match.
All right, who you have surviving?
I have no idea. I actually think SmackDown wins this match just because it'll be a better way to advance storylines, make Raw look like the underdog. I think you're right about this, Josh. I think Raw takes more losses than wins because I think they want to start to make SmackDown feel like an A show just to kind of hype up a rivalry between the two.
Yeah.
But I guess if I'm going, man, I don't even know. Miz absolutely, I think is in there, is one of the last guys. Maybe Miz and Mysterio even. But this is where I'd like to see Miz just be a sole survivor.
I'm
Shane. I guess Shane would be in it. If Shane's the sole survivor again, then maybe his ego gets, first he's best in the world, then he's sole survivor, right? And now he's starting to get that Vince McMahon ego a little bit so maybe there could be something to that.
Let me just say this, folks. Don't be surprised if Shane McMahon's the last one standing. Don't go on a soapbox about it. Don't be surprised by it. In
WWE, a McMahon, it doesn't matter who they're wrestling with. McMahon is still first. Yeah, McMahon is always still first.
I'm very excited to see Rey Mysterio in the ring with Finn Balor at the same time.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. If Raw wins, Drew McIntyre will be the last one standing.
Agreed.
For that team. All right. Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura. I do think Seth Rollins' face will be broken. Shinsuke Nakamura will win with help of Dean Ambrose.
I absolutely agree there too.
All right. Brock Lesnar, Daniel Bryan. I'm sorry, guys. I unless somebody strikes me over the head and something happens out of nowhere with a small package like Daniel Bryan used to do in the ROH days, I have Brock Lesnar winning this match.
I mean, yeah, the smart, easy bet on this is Lesnar, but I'll admit it's a little intriguing. I like this Daniel Bryan Brock Lesnar matchup a lot better than super babyface or Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, because again, we don't know what's going on with Heyman. Why was he there? Was it just was it there's a lot of ways that you could look at this if you want to have fun with it.
Right.
So, and remember, we didn't get the one thing I'll say, Josh, is we didn't get a prediction this week. We didn't get a spoiler alert. Just tossing it out there. That's the only reason I'm tossing it out there.
He didn't give a spoiler alert for Daniel Bryan, though. I don't think Heyman knew that Bryan was winning the title that night.
No, and this is one where AJ Styles could actually, because he's not on the card right now, he could come down and interfere in the match. So,
right. We'll see what happens with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. I think obviously they'll fight each other at TLC. Maybe this ends at the Rumble, something like that. But we'll see what goes from there. But last one. I think the women are still main eventing the show. Ronda Rousey against Charlotte Flair. I think that's going to be the main event of the show.
I do too.
I'm going with Ronda Rousey here, but if you guys want me to do the bet here, I will have the women finish the show regardless.
I think the women finish the show. I think this is that's what sucks. This match should be Becky and Ronda. I mean, this is where as a fan it does suck. But I'm going with Charlotte. I think Becky was meant to win this match, and I think that I don't know. Babyface Ronda Rousey wouldn't still be calling an injured Becky Lynch out on social medias, and they're really playing into the storyline a little too well for me to believe that Ronda isn't turning somewhat heel eventually. And a great way for her to turn heel is for her to suffer a loss. And I hate it because I really wanted Becky to get that first win off of Ronda, but if it's gonna if they planned on it happening anyway. Don't deviate from the plan. If there was a bigger plan in place, it sucks, but sometimes it's plug and play. I think that's why Becky was so emotional, going up the ramp the other night. So right. I'm actually going Charlotte on this one.
Woo!
I know. It's crazy, right?
Right. The man.
That's the best. It is. That's the best gimmick right now. It is the best. Now, what about that article you sent me?
Okay, so before we get to that, I want to do this time next week because that's the comedy stuff that could lead into our final part of the show, all right? This time next week...
We won't be doing a show because it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's true. That is very, very true. This time next week, I'm going to go check out Creed 2. I'm very excited for one. I liked Creed 1. I thought it was a very good movie, and I'm a Michael B. Jordan fan. And I want to see this movie. I think Creed 2 is going to be cool. I saw some of the trailers for it. It looks awesome. So this time next week, I'll be seeing Creed Part 2.
This time next week, we'll be preparing for when we do come back from a little break, giving one of our little reviews of what we liked from pay-per-view to pay-per-view. Our little quarterly reviews. We'll be going, SummerSlam to Survivor Series this time. Since we do them after all the big five now. So we'll be doing that in 2 weeks. So this time in 2 weeks.
Yeah, this time in 2 weeks are 5 takeaways from this past season of WWE programming. It's one of the cool features we've been adding on the show over this past year. We'll do that next week. All right, this time next week, I'll be just watching some football, a lot of football coming up the next week or so. Bears are playing Sunday night against the Vikings in the early game in Detroit on CBS against the Lions. 2 divisional games. I'm keeping my same mindset I kept the whole season. You have to win your division games. It's just that simple. This is an important stretch for this team. I'm not going to overreact and be like, oh, we're going to be the NFC title game or anything like that. We have to take this 1 week at a time, and this game on Sunday is very important. I'm kind of bummed out that this game is going on while Survivor Series is going on, but also I'm not craving to hear Chris Collinsworth call a football game for 3 hours. I'm not a Chris Collinsworth guy, so there's some balances, there's some give and take here that you got to deal with, right? So I'm happy that the Bears are getting into this position. We'll see what happens. I'm not making guarantees. Minnesota is a very good football team. They could blow us out. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but taking it 1 week at a time, and I'm excited to watch some football this weekend, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time, I guess this time next week I'll just still be watching the Raiders trying to figure out how to play football. It's been a learning process, I guess, this year. You know what, I'll probably just be complaining about it being cold. But no, you know, it's going to be Thanksgiving next week, so this time next week I'm just going to be eating good. We're cooking, taking food down my dad's. It's going to be a nice little family thing, and that's all it's going to be for me. Turkey and a lot of mashed potatoes.
Yes, sir. This time next week, I am going to do a review for Lucha Underground. That'll be our podcast offering next week. I'm going to do a review of Season 4 of Lucha Underground for you guys next week. So that's what I'll be doing next week for you guys.
There you go. So this time next week, that show will get more hits than most of our shows get because I won't be on it. So see? Told you guys, that's your Thanksgiving treat. I won't be here.
All right. That's a wrap for this time next week. Hope you guys do take time, spend time with your family. More importantly, be grateful for the things you have. Enjoy some good food as well. Being half Italian and Puerto Rican, get some good food on both ends of the department. So it's holiday season. Happy holidays, and let's not kill each other over religious preferences, please.
Yeah, dumb stuff that everybody fucking argues about all the time. Stop it.
Speaking of
Thanksgiving.
Speaking of stupid people, this is how we're going to wrap up the show this week. So, give credit where credit's due. Give credit to the people at Pro Wrestling Sheet for this article I saw while we were talking earlier. The one and only Enzo Amore got kicked off a plane.
Imagine our surprise.
For vaping and not listening to flight attendants.
How douchebag is it? Like, that's how I imagine the motherfucker would get kicked off a plane too. You know what I mean? The most, like, it's like, hey man, what's the most douchebag way you can get kicked off a plane these days? I don't know. Refusing to stop vaping? Yep. Bingo. We have a winner, and your winner is Enzo Amore. Like, what a fucking toolbox, man. You're a fucking asshole. That's why anybody out there with WWE this and this and that, the dude was nothing but trouble for a big money corporation like that. Fucking Phoenix Rising, fucking his fines are rising. That dude, you can't do shit like that on airplanes, man. Like, he realizes that now that he's not in WWE, he's just looked at as an overpaid Fraggle, right? I hope this dude realizes that.
You remember last year they had that TMZ interview about him not being in the WWE locker room, and he's like, I got my own locker room.
I didn't see that, thankfully.
Just like a really like fucked up version of Kevin Federline, but just 5 inches smaller. Like, yeah. That's where he is right now.
Yeah, he's a character, all right.
I didn't listen to any of his rap hits, and I'm not going to watch any of his music videos either. It's
funny that you said hits.
I want to see.
I think it's even more comical that you said rap.
I think that's insulting to the word hit.
Well, yeah, so. Yeah, kind of.
Oh shit! I just wanted to mention that as we wrap up here.
Like Tupac had hits. Mm-hmm. Biggie had hits.
Yes.
Enzo Amore had tracks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a difference.
No, Enzo just happened. Let's just wrap it
there. Yeah. So he's up there with Krispy Kreme, and except I think Krispy Kreme probably got more hits. No?
Shit. That's good, brother, man. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up there. You know, I don't want to lose any more brain cells just thinking about this dude. So we're going to wrap it up. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Notorious Joshie. Make sure to follow the Clown Prince at Twitter and Instagram at AdamDaley13. We'll be back in a couple weeks to recap Survivor Series, and we'll head up towards our build towards TLC. And we're going to have our segment where we pick out the 5 best things from WWE program this past summer of season of the year, and we'll talk about that next week as well. Not next week, but the week after Thanksgiving. Enjoy
Spoiler
Thanksgiving.
Alert, Becky Lynch is number 1.
That's true. Enjoy Thanksgiving, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to check out the podcast on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. We'll be changing a lot of things in a couple weeks when it comes to this show. And a little spoiler alert here, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually changing the name of the show in a couple weeks. So be on the lookout for that, and shout out to all our good brothers and good sisters who listen to the podcast each week. We love you guys, and thank you guys so much for taking time to listen to our nonsense, and enjoy Thanksgiving. We'll be back here in a couple weeks. This has been episode 132 of the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, and trust me, I'm not going to wear a Cedric Benson jersey. We're out. Peace.